Just quieten down, baby.
Per capita export value.
Libraries.
Minister, are you embarrassed by your behavior today?
There's a lot of bleeding hearts around.
Do you have the fortitude or the gonads to stand up and come across here and say that to me, you son of a bitch?
Just watch me.
He certainly went too far, Mr. Speaker, when I saw him stick his tongue out.
Contemptuous disregard.
More than a slab of bacon talking here.
The disappointment you also feel is my responsibility.
I lost my temper.
What is the nature of your thoughts?
The word was F-A-R-T.
Hello and welcome to Canadian Politics is Boring. My name is Reese and with me is the infatigable Jesse Harley.
I'm always awake.
He will not get tired.
24 hours a day.
Even if he runs really fast for a long time. Like 20 minutes.
Yep. It's a medical mystery. Nobody understands it.
This show is not about that. This show is Canadian Politics is Boring for those who've never listened before. It's like other political commentary, but with dick jokes and two people who just talk shit.
So basically, Reese here is a Welsh immigrant, and he thought it'd be very funny to do a political Canadian satire podcast. And
I'm learning.
And he called me up and said, let's do a satirical Canadian political podcast. And I'm like, no, Canadian politics is boring. And he thought that was fucking funny. So the whole show is him teaching me, a Canadian, about my own country's system. Hold on. The pen I put underneath of his laptop is wobbly, so he can't type.
Jesse, he was like, look at this, I'm going to put a pen under your laptop. Yeah, I'm doing so it's like the worst.
No, because it was like, the fan was going.
Anyway.
Like it was a fucking NASCAR engine. Is that a right?
Jet engine?
That's it. Not a NASCAR engine. I don't think this is type of engine.
It is, well, there's NASCARs and they have engines.
So I have a theory as to the Antigonish thing.
What Antigonish thing? Oh, yeah. So no one...
What Antigonish thing? No one responded. We've had over 2,300 listens in the past few weeks in Antigonish alone.
But they don't give a shit about emailing.
Nobody emailed us. Nobody sent us a speak pipe. And I have a sneaking suspicion of what's going on. I don't think anyone in Antigonish is listening. I think, because we're doing a campaign in the States right now. We're doing this huge campaign in the States. And if you look at our demographics, the numbers...
Hello, Americans.
Hello, Americans. If you look at the statistics, our numbers in America aren't growing like at all or barely at all. But Antigonish is blowing through the roof. So I think the wires got crossed somewhere in the reporting of where our listeners are coming from. I think I think everybody in the States is being reported as being from Antigonish for some reason.
I mean, there's a good chance. Yeah. Maybe.
If you are from Antigonish and you're hearing this,
and you're like, no, me and everyone else in the town did listen.
Yeah, it's like, oh, our teacher told us to do this. It's been an assignment or something like that. If that is the case, and our tantalizing offer of a free T-shirt and or Tim Hortons gift card wasn't fucking enough for you,
well, do you know what? What disappoints me is nobody even bothered to lie for a free T-shirt,
right? And I was,
let's up. I was gonna get us to. We'll sign the T-shirt with Sharpies.
Let's up the ante.
We'll draw a little dick on it.
Okay, so we'll take the T-shirt. We'll both sign it. We'll draw a dick each on it.
Yeah.
Okay, a dick on the front, a dick on the back, and we'll put in a $20 Tim Hortons gift card. No.
I will just smush in an envelope 20 Timbits.
Perfect. Way better.
Mash it into
into the shirt? Into the
shirt, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, so it's a Welsh thing. That doesn't sound very appealing to us Canadians, but sure, we'll take it. So there you go. 20 Timbits mashed into a signed with Dick's T-shirt just for the first fucking person from Antigonish to explain to us what the fuck is happening. Okay. We've upped the ante. There it is, guys. Come on.
Jesse.
Yep.
We had a speak pipe.
We had a speak pipe.
So we did an episode.
Oh, speaking of which, I want to apologize to everyone who has left us speak pipes. We do listen to every single one of them. We are very appreciative of them. If we haven't played,
Jesse texts me immediately to go,
we got a speak pipe. If we didn't play yours, I'm really sorry. We've forgotten which ones we've played and which ones we haven't. But please please continue to send us, and we will do our best to play even more if we can.
So this one was from Ruth Ellen Brousseau episode. Somebody took a listen and they actually had met her, and this is what they said.
Hi, I just wanted to leave a message. I know Ruth. She was an MP in my area, and I met her when she very first got elected. And she is even better than you guys explained in the story. She is very involved in a lot of community things, and she is someone who really, really cares about her area. And so I did send her a link to the podcast you guys did, and I hope that you guys can talk to her more because she is a really inspiring woman. So have a great day.
Which is nice.
That was so nice. Thank you so much for leaving that message for us. How nice. You know what? I'd actually like to have Ruth on the show if she would do it.
Do you know what I like is we always make fun of politicians on this show. It's kind of why we exist.
Yes.
And it's nice to go, oh, do you know what? There are decent, nice people out there, and we've stumbled on one from this story with this cool kind of backstory to how they got into politics.
Yeah.
But also what I like is the fact that she kind of accidentally got into politics, which makes me think that that's why she's doing such a good job and she's nice, is because she wasn't born power hungry.
Now, I know she avoids the media. I don't know if she still avoids the media. She did when she got into power. But anyway, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to Ruth on our behalf.
She did. That's what she said. She sent the episode to Ruth.
Oh. Well, if you want to send this episode...
Thanks for already doing what Jesse said.
If you want to send this episode to Ruth, Ruth, if you'd like to be on the show, please email us at canadianpoliticsisboring@gmail.com. And we'd love to have you on.
Jesse.
We'll only make fun of you a little bit.
Yeah, only a
Just
little
bit.
Yeah. Only a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. It's like the time when we interviewed the leader of the Green Party in Alberta, and you said to him, your tagline should be, what have we got to lose? Vote Green.
We know where you live.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Jordan Wilk is great.
Have you ever been to Moose Jaw?
I have not.
Moose Jaw. Hang on.
Give me a reason. Sell it.
I usually look at things on the map, but I didn't look at Moose Jaw on the map. Where is it? Moose Jaw. It's kind of... I know it's in Saskatchewan. Yeah. Just outside of Regina. Kind of a small town. Now, do you know much about Moose Jaw, even though you haven't been there?
Not a thing.
Moose Jaw,
yes,
has secret tunnels under it.
Kind of like Halifax.
Except they're not secret anymore. They were secret.
You know the secret tunnels around underneath Halifax, right? Like they're all over the fucking place. And some are accessible, some aren't. Is it kind of like that?
It is, but these ones have a much more interesting story.
I'm all ears. This is okay.
I like secret. I think Jesse's a secret tunnel person.
I've been bugging Reese lately for giving me
got a t-shirt.
Just straight up educational political shows where I'm like, this is a fucking
this one
like this is I'm like, okay,
this one involves
this is paying off. My bugging you is paying off. Me holding your feet to the fire, finding interesting shit. See, tell me it wasn't working. All right, fine. Tell me about these secret tunnels.
This one involves gangsters and people hiding for their lives. So they're quite good tunnels.
All right.
So right now there's a museum you can actually go and visit the tunnels, but there was a time when they were secret. So apparently the tunnels were initially built to have power and heating running between the buildings in like the main Moose Jaw kind of area.
Sorry, what? Was it because they're really cold? Like,
yeah, because it's a very cold place. They had underground tunnels, and the idea was that they were a passage built under the ground to carry utility lines such as electricity, steam, water supplies, and sewer pipes.
Carry steam?
Yeah.
To carry steam?
Or like to eject steam from something that creates steam. You know, like...
Oh,
like
to let it out.
Heating and everything.
Not to transport steam.
Well, yeah, in a pipe to pipe the steam out.
Okay.
But what
I thought like you were utilizing steam in some weird sort of techno steam works.
Oh, no, it's from the boilers to keep things warm. So apparently the early steam engineers were doing it to...
what year was this, by the way?
Oh, well, this kind of goes back to the beginning of the 20th century.
Okay.
So the steam engineers maintained the boilers and used the tunnels because when they would go from building to building to do boiler maintenance, it was the extreme cold weather there. It was to kind of like...
How cold did it get?
Well, it was Saskatchewan.
Enough said.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking cold, Jesse.
Colder than deep space.
I think that's their
Comets go,
Official slogan for Moose Jaw. Moose Jaw, it's colder than deep space.
comets fly past Saskatchewan to warm their
I
hands.
was talking about city slogans with someone recently, and we live in Halifax, and we're surrounded. We're in HRM, Halifax Regional Municipality, and it's a bunch of cities like Dartmouth and Bedford and Sackville. We were talking about Bedford. I was like, I think I know what Bedford's slogan is. It's city slogan. It's just Bedford. It's Bedford. I think that's
It's Bedford.
it's Bedford.
I love town slogans.
Bedford.
You get
It's
these-
Bedford.
I love when you get like a really shit town and the tagline is something like, life doesn't get better than this. And then I almost want to write in pen, despite the evidence.
But do you like? I came up with that. Do you like that city slogan?
It's Bedford.
It's Bedford.
As someone who lives near It's Bedford.
Bedford. It's Bedford.
Yeah. It used to be famous for Volvo driving people, and now it's one of the most multicultural parts of the whole city. Is interesting.
Bedford?
Yeah.
Really?
Honestly, a lot of new Canadians are setting up shop in Bedford.
Maybe it's because it's the only reasonably priced affordable housing and rent in HRM.
It's also one of the few places they're building en masse, and there is space for anyone.
Right.
As an immigrant, I'm surrounded by other immigrants. It's quite nice.
Can we say it together? Bedford, it's Bedford? Like it's a slogan?
3, 2, 1.
Bedford. It's Bedford. That's great. Okay.
I feel like we should do-
Moose Jaw, it's colder than outer space. Is that what you...
No, it's just it. So anyway, it meant the engineers could go between buildings and fix things and do stuff without having
Not just residential, but like...
Yeah. You know, like in Australia, there are some towns that are underground because it's too hot.
Fuck no. What?
There are
No.
people who live underground in the
What
summer.
the fuck are you talking about?
It's too hot to go up above the ground in some parts of Australia.
What the fuck? You say this as if this is common knowledge. I've never heard of it. This is blowing my mind.
It's almost like Luke Skywalker's house kind of thing, where it's all underground.
What?
Because it's cool underground.
Yeah, no, I get that concept. I've never heard of this ever.
Well, it's like the opposite. It's cold in Saskatchewan. They built the stuff underground, so they didn't have to go above the top.
I want to talk about Australia now.
Go and research or read a book. I don't know. Go and Google it.
You just have to
When you go home,
convince a friend
your
to start
homework.
it in Australia is boring and then have them do all the research for me.
Australia's not boring.
No, I know. Neither is Canada. That's the point.
Everything wants to kill you in Australia. That's a good name for a podcast.
That would be good.
We have to live underground because it's too hot.
And everything wants to kill us.
And there are snakes.
Okay, so I keep distracting.
So these, the original passageways ran from the train station to the Maple Leaf Hotel and under the main street, but they were abandoned in 1908
Why?
because they didn't need to use them anymore as much.
It's still fucking cold.
Still cold, but I guess technology changed. Maybe
Okay,
they
so
weren't needed anymore.
They didn't need to do maintenance that much.
So they only would have been known by like a small number of engineers in the town, and then also they were forgotten about. But then what happened is in the early 20s...
My guess is that the technology progressed to the point where they didn't need to be maintained that often and therefore didn't need to be using them on a daily basis sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
My guess. I don't want to know. Why would you stop using cool time?
Well, it's like I used to have to plug my computer into the phone port and use a modem to dial up. But now I've got Wi-Fi. So technology changes. That's my point.
Thanks, Reese.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
But then what happened was there was a huge wave of Chinese immigration to Moose Jaw.
That's interesting. Why?
And it was poverty was like rife in China, and people came to Canada for a better life.
Sure. But why Moose Jaw in particular?
Well, because they were building the railroads and everything.
There
So
was work, right?
so they were employed as servants, railroad workers, miners, laundry workers.
A lot of them died.
And also
making the Trans-Canadian Railway.
Exactly. And also
very sad story.
There was also what was at the time was called the Yellow Peril, which was like a backlash in the press and in Canadian society against Chinese immigration. Remember we did the episode on the Chinese head tax?
Yeah.
So but because of their low wages, a lot of them couldn't pay that tax. Some of them had smuggled their family over. There was a lot of anti-Chinese sentiment in Moose Jaw at the time. And often there was racism and people were attacked and killed in Moose Jaw.
Jesus, man.
So the tunnels became a place for them to hide.
What?
So when things flared up, or if people wanted to move around,
like if there was like a fucking lynch mob roaming the streets or
people
something?
openly just like being racist and attacking them in the street, it was a way for them to live and move around Moose Jaw.
Live?
And
they lived underground.
Temporarily, my understanding is from this, but also it kept them warm in the winter because the boilers were still down there and everything.
Yeah, but didn't they have a place to live?
Well, They did, but a lot of them were very poor, and some of them had, again, like smuggled them, was living semi-legally in the country.
So then maybe they're living in housing that like they're what's the word I'm looking for? Like squatting. They're squatting in houses because they couldn't officially get a place of their own. So like they're living in housing that has no electricity or power or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. But the tunnels were warm.
Right.
Not many people knew about them anymore. And you could like move around and be safe and be with other people from your community at least. And I mean, it's not.
That's really fucking cool and really fucking sad at the same time.
It's awful. Yeah.
Wow. But like also really cool. Like it's hard. It's hard because like it's really sad, but like also kind of cool. Like just
So, but then that kind of what was called the Chinese era of the tunnels was then eventually replaced by the Prohibition era of the tunnels.
Ooh.
So,
okay.
There's a direct railroad between.
When was Prohibition again? It was the 20s, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and like it was illegal to manufacture and sell alcohol in the US. Still legal in Canada. At
right.
the time.
Right.
And
yeah.
And there was a direct rail line.
We did an episode with
the Rum Runners and with your friend from the Cocktail Man, Dave Cocktails.
Dave Cocktails.
Yeah, youtube.com/Dave Cocktails.
Yep. His name was Greg.
Greg. That's it, Greg.
His YouTube channel is How to Drink.
That was the one.
It's great.
I was 90% right. So anyway.
But we talked about Prohibition.
We did.
Through Canada and the States, yeah.
So because there was a railroad line that ran directly from Chicago to Moose Jaw, it was the perfect place. But also...
It was the perfect place to smuggle booze onto the train into Chicago.
And
right?
Moose Jaw...
Because Canada was legal.
Yeah. And Moose Jaw had a corrupt police force.
Excellent.
So it was great. And apparently, there are claims, lots of people claim this is true. Other people say it is not true. They say that Al Capone used to come and lie low in Moose Jaw when the heat was on.
That's fucking cool.
But no, there's no confirmation. There's people who like to tell that story. But even before then, even before the railroad was built, Moose Jaw already had a reputation for illegal kind of alcohol brewing and gambling. It was seen as kind of like a bit of a sin town where you could go and have a good time and, get drunk.
In Moose Jaw?
Yeah.
All right. That's kind of cool.
The Vegas of
the Vegas of Canada.
Saskatchewan's Vegas. That's a tagline.
I like that. Yeah. It's better than it's colder than outer space.
Exactly. So it meant that you could, because there were tunnels running from the train station to other parts of the town, like the hotel and everything, it was really easy for people to transport liquor all the way through those tunnels.
So, I mean, okay, the cops are corrupt, so they obviously knew this was happening. They just couldn't let people do it in the streets, sort of thing?
Yeah, and also people were gambling in the tunnels.
How big were these tunnels?
I don't know, but people crouched over trying to play poker.
Right?
Some mobster in a new suit with a cigar.
Yeah, by the blackjack table over there by that dirty.
Yeah. Hit me. I'm just going to go and stretch my legs. I can't feel them because I've been crouching down for 3 hours.
I want to visit these tunnels. Do they still exist?
Do they? You can go. There's a museum. Yeah.
What?
Moose Jaw. This is brought to you by Visit Moose Jaw kind of thing. So Walter Johnson, who was...
We should reach out, get them to sponsor us.
Well, Walter Johnson, the police chief, made a small fortune from the amount of hush money he was paid by gangsters.
Okay. Wow.
And apparently the Moose Jaw had kept the alcohol flowing to Chicago. And they had casinos and clubs, and there were even brothels eventually in the tunnels or linked to the tunnels.
Brothels?
Yeah.
In the tunnels?
Sex.
Again, how big are these fucking tunnels?
Sounds like an experimental electronic band, Sex Tunnel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Kind of like sort of shit you listen to as a teen, yeah.
Did you hear the new album from Sex Tunnel? Anyway. And so there's no proof that...
It's what I feel like that's what like a young teenage boy would call like a woman's private parts.
Like sex tunnel.
Sex tunnel. I'm going to get with her sex tunnel.
Anyway, so Moose Jaw became known as Little Chicago, and there were eyewitness sightings of Al Capone, but there was no no confirmation.
No Instagram.
There's no Instagram to prove.
No TMZ.
Yeah. There are no stories that were posted. Anyway, and the two people who worked for Al Capone or claimed to work for Al Capone were there, and one of them claimed one claimed to have been Al Capone's barber when he was in town, and the other one claimed to be his paper boy. But I don't remember people having private paper boys. So
yeah, that'd be weird.
You're my paper boy. What do you want me to do? I don't know. Just stand around me shouting the name of the headline. Extra, read all about it. You're too close.
Real quick.
Stand over there. Like, are you going to buy a paper? Maybe tomorrow. Just carry on. Like,
we got enough money.
Exactly.
I want rich people to do more weird shit. I've talked about that before.
But also as well, the parts of the tunnels were too small to be used for effectively.
No kidding. For a brothel and a casino.
So this is a
how do I get to 3rd Street? I'm new into these tunnels. Exactly. Well, you go around that blackjack table there, step over that couple fucking on the floor there, make a right at the end, and you're there.
But what happened was you found that some of the tunnels were too small, so that they were using small children to relay messages of warning that there was going to be a raid or something was going to happen.
Oh wow!
And there's a kind of a I found from a book called Red Lights on the Prairies.
Okay.
By James Gray. He interviewed someone called Lawrence Mullin, who was born in 1910. And in 1919, the city was kind of famous for the high rolling lifestyle. And he, this is just after the First World War. And Mullin was a little boy. And these are some of his recollections as a little boy in Moose Jaw. So he said, his home was on the North Hill, a long way in time and distance from the haunts of his youth. Down there on the river, us boys were reigning supreme. They were all good to us.
Hold on, wait. I feel like this could be an audio drama. Can you slow it down and add in some atmosphere like rain and maybe just like a little bit of music, just atmospheric music? Okay.
Down there on the river, us boys were reigning supreme. They were good to us. Dad, he liked to play poker and he gambled. He was involved in this. Anyway, these men were bringing booze in from down east on the railroad. They had this tunnel across from the CPR station, and they said to Dad, them little Chinese tunnels are so small they can only wiggle through them with certain things. That'd be good connections for communicating. If only we had someone that could travel through them. Dad says, oh, my boy can do that easily.
Oh, jeez. So
he was 11 years old, and he was the first of 5 boys recruited as a tunnel crawler.
Daddy, I'm stuck.
So he would hang out at a newspaper stand on River Street, and then the police chief would ride up on his horse to buy a newspaper and would whisper to him, storm coming tonight. So as soon as the chief was gone, he'd run up to River Street, and then he'd go downstairs and he'd knock on the door, and then he'd go down through into the basement where people were playing poker, which was connected to the tunnels, and then he'd say storm tonight, and then everything would be disappeared through the tunnels, and like people would like pass messages through the smaller parts, and then he would crawl through a series of tunnels, passing the messages onto several more boys in other tunnels before working his way back up to the street, and he'd earn like 25 cents for that.
That's amazing.
So all the brothels, they'd like, I don't know, the sex
that's amazing.
Sex workers would hide in a closet and all this kind of stuff.
It's like, I don't know, I'm part of the Canadian television film industry, and like we make crap for movies. We just do. It's just a thing we do. We try to emulate Hollywood, and I don't know why, because we're not good at it. But like, if we were to make movies about stuff like this, about our own, like
what stuff that happened,
but like cool shit like that, that's an amazing story
from the perspective of a 10-year-old boy.
Sure.
During like,
yeah. Fucking amazing. Too cool. So I realized I wasn't, anyway, I continue. Sorry.
And also
side rant.
yeah. And I love this quote is weird. So basically then he has, even though Chief Johnson was like wildly corrupt, made a fortune on the side, he's really sympathetic. This Mullin, who was a 10-year-old boy at the time, this is what he said about the police chief. There's a man that nobody understood. They persecute him now, and they're all wrong. He's one of the nicest men I've ever met. I understand how perfectly I understand now perfectly what he was going through. He was riding the fence like Sweden during the war.
Well, I was going to say, like, they had a brothel, which is like, yeah, that's, morally iffy. And then they had a casino and they were rum running. Like, but like, he could have just been like, all for the people, like, hey, yeah, this shouldn't be
everyone
illegal.
was making money off it. The kids were making 25 cents.
Right. It's good for the economy,
It's good, yeah,
like creating jobs. He was probably just
they
like
were buying penny whistles and moon pie.
Yeah, he probably just like didn't see a problem with it and wanted to keep it going, right? He was
just like, hey, the town's booming.
Right?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Chief Johnson.
Chief Johnson. It's an unfortunately boring name.
Right? And so he remembers it as a very happy childhood working with gangsters and prostitutes and gamblers.
Very cool.
And a corrupt police chief. So those are the Moose Jaw tunnels.
I look forward to the little audio drama that you're going to put together.
Am I?
I hope. You said you were going to. The sound effects and music and whatnot for like the... You said when they were reigning supreme, I just heard rain. And so that's why I said like the rain sound effect, but that clearly.
So I've got to make it sound like the sound of supreme.
You have to make it sound like a tunnel of a brothel in a casino and people have footsteps in the dirt and shit like that.
Yeah. Just an echo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an echo.
Perfect.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, that was good. So thanks, special friends.
This is not a special friends. This is a full episode.
Oh no, this isn't. This is a full episode. Yeah. Well, everyone's
Reese.
special, just not as special as the special.
It's just not a special. If you'd like to become a special friends,
yeah, go to CanadianPoliticsIsBoring.com. You'll find the link to Patreon. You can buy merchandise. You can leave reviews. You can leave voicemail messages on our website too if you don't like SpeakPipe.
We just had an amazing patron episode about how one of our old pals, Diefenbaker, forgot his own wife, and not in the sad way, like in a kind of a mean way. Yeah. And it's a really
edited her from history.
Yeah. It's a really good episode. If you want to go check it out, we'd love your support. And yeah, if you join and you like, you know what, these fuckers aren't giving us enough, write us. We listen to everything you say as our patrons. And like, if you were like, yeah, I want like a free episode and a backer-up, like fucking, okay, maybe,
Also, I'd really, really, really like it if if you like the show and you've been listening for a while and you can't support the show financially and you don't want to buy merchandise, be a patron and join the League of Special Friends.
I've just sold it. What are you doing?
No, but if you can't do that, the very least you can do is give us a review.
Okay.
And by that, I mean a good one.
We do it. We do appreciate that. Honestly.
Yeah, it does help.
It helps a lot.
And yeah, so good. So,
and just a bounce back to the first of the episode, Antigonish listeners, if this is true, if you are an Antigonish and you know what's happening, if it's a school thing, if you're just like all your friends are talking about it, we don't fucking know. We don't fucking know what's happening. We've upped the ante.
Yeah.
Signed t-shirt, Canadian Politics is Boring t-shirt by both of us with dicks drawn on it and 20 Timbits just mashed into the package for some reason. Reese thinks it's a good idea.
And I'm going to go buy them today. So if you don't hurry up, they're going to be stale.
Yeah, fucking just send us a speak pipe or send us an email and yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Just fucking do it. Jesus Christ.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. We love you. See you soon.
Stay safe.
Oh, that's creepy.